The galaxy thought humans were weak, easy to crush, but they had a fire no one could control. The Empire underestimated humanity, and it cost them everything. From the shadows, a hidden fleet rose, striking with courage, intelligence, and unstoppable force. Every battle proved that strategy and willpower could defeat even the mightiest empire. Witness the story of a species that refused to bow, defied every expectation, and changed the universe forever. The hidden fleet moved like ghosts, precise, fearless, and unstoppable, and the empire froze in fear as their centuries of dominance crumbled. This is the story of humans who fought back and reshaped the galaxy. Don't miss the next epic adventure. Hit subscribe and join us for more amazing stories. The Galactic Empire had grown arrogant over centuries, believing no species in the universe could ever challenge their power. Every planet, every fleet, every system they controlled only strengthened their confidence. Humans, by contrast, were considered weak, scattered, and insignificant, an unremarkable species with little influence beyond their tiny blue planet. The Empire thought conquering Earth would be like stepping on an ant, easy, quick, and without consequence. Yet, while the Empire celebrated their assumed dominance, humans were quietly building something no one could see, deep in hidden sectors, far from prying eyes. Humanity had been preparing for decades, their scientists designing new technologies, their engineers building ships that could outmaneuver any known fleet, their soldiers training day and night, learning tactics that would make even the most experienced alien generals hesitate. The Empire had miscalculated, failing to understand that humans had turned their apparent weaknesses into strengths. Their unpredictability, ingenuity, and resilience were weapons no one had accounted for. The humans' patience and strategic thinking had been underestimated, and it was about to become their greatest advantage. The Empire's arrogance blinded them to the quiet work happening behind the scenes. While they fought petty wars and expanded their bureaucracy, humans learned, adapted, and grew stronger in secret, waiting for the right moment to show the galaxy what they could do. The Empire believed that control, fear, and intimidation would keep everyone in line. But they had never faced a species that thrived under pressure. Humans had survived natural disasters, wars, and countless challenges on their homeworld, developing a spirit that refused to surrender. They had learned from every failure, every mistake, and every threat, turning obstacles into lessons and weakness into cunning. What the Empire saw as chaos, humans saw as opportunity. The Hidden Fleet was not just a collection of ships and soldiers. It was a symbol of humanity's resolve. Every vessel, every pilot, every engineer had a role in a plan far bigger than the Empire could imagine. Humans had studied the Empire, observed their strategies, predicted their moves, and anticipated their arrogance. The Empire believed they were untouchable, but humans had learned to strike where the enemy was most vulnerable, to use speed, stealth, and surprise as their greatest weapons. When the first reports of unusual fleet movements reached Imperial commanders, they dismissed them, assuming miscommunication or exaggeration. Humans were patient, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves. They did not rush. They did not act out of fear. They acted with precision, each move calculated, each decision deliberate. While the Empire continued their campaigns with overconfidence, humans were turning the universe's expectations upside down. They had prepared for every scenario. Their technology allowed them to communicate instantly across vast distances. Their ships were faster and more maneuverable than anything the Empire had deployed. And their soldiers were trained not just to fight, but to adapt, to think, and to innovate in the heat of battle. The Empire believed strength came from numbers and firepower alone. But humans had discovered that courage, strategy, and ingenuity were forces just as powerful. Whispers began to circulate in the Empire's command halls, hints of something hidden, something formidable, something they had ignored for too long. The first cracks in their confidence appeared, small doubts, questions about whether they had truly understood the universe. The Empire had miscalculated. Assuming the obvious, the visible, the easy to measure, humans had thrived in obscurity, hidden from view, but always growing, always learning, waiting. And soon, the first signs of their presence would shock the galaxy. The Empire had thought themselves unstoppable, yet they were blind to the one thing that could challenge them, the quiet, persistent, hidden strength of humanity. And when the humans finally revealed the fleet, when the shadows gave way to light, the Empire would see that their arrogance was their greatest mistake. The miscalculation that would cost them more than they could imagine. The galaxy was about to witness a species underestimated, ignored, and dismissed, rise from obscurity and change everything forever. Humans launched their first strike with precision and speed, catching the Empire completely off guard. The Imperial commanders had never imagined that a species they considered weak could organize such a coordinated attack. Fleets that were supposed to patrol the borders were destroyed before they even realized what was happening. Communication lines were cut, supply routes were sabotaged, and the outposts that had seemed so secure fell in hours. Humans moved like shadows, striking where the Empire was most vulnerable. Every maneuver calculated, every decision intentional. The Empire's soldiers were confused, their confidence shattered. They had never seen tactics like this. Humans were not just fighting, they were teaching a lesson. Every counterattack they launched was met with resistance and adaptation. Every attempt by the Empire to regroup only exposed more weaknesses. The humans had studied every Imperial strategy, every predictable move, and turned it into an advantage. News of the attack spread quickly, first among the scattered Imperial fleets, then to the command centers. Panic began to take root. Generals who were used to unquestioned obedience now faced a force they could neither predict nor easily crush. The hidden fleet that humans had built in secret was no longer a rumor or speculation. It was a reality. And it had teeth. While humans struck swiftly, they also retreated without unnecessary risk. Teaching the Empire that this species did not act recklessly, they acted intelligently, using every resource, every skill, every advantage they had cultivated in secrecy. Reports of destroyed Imperial ships caused chaos in command halls. Messages flew frantically from one fleet to another. But humans were always one step ahead, anticipating movements, avoiding traps, and exploiting hesitation. The Empire had underestimated not only humans' technology, but also their willpower. They had expected fear, surrender, or at least hesitation. But instead they faced defiance, courage, and brilliant planning. Each human pilot, soldier, and strategist worked in perfect coordination, and the Empire was forced to admit that what they were witnessing was beyond their understanding. The hidden fleet became a ghost, appearing in systems the Empire thought safe, vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. The unpredictability of human tactics made the Empire hesitate. Hesitation bred mistakes, mistakes multiplied, and humans exploited every opportunity. Across multiple star systems, humans continued their campaign, striking strategically, never overwhelming but always precise. The Empire's overconfidence became its undoing. Soldiers who had trained for decades found themselves outmaneuvered. Leaders who had never questioned their supremacy now questioned everything. Whispers began among allied species. Stories of human strikes traveled faster than the fleets themselves. The legend of the hidden fleet began to grow. The Empire realized that humans were not just fighting for survival. They were reclaiming control, redefining the rules of warfare, and proving that intelligence and courage could overcome raw power. In every encounter, humans learned from the Empire's reactions, improving, adapting, and perfecting their tactics. Their patience and preparation allowed them to strike repeatedly without suffering heavy losses. They were a force that combined speed, stealth, and planning. The Empire's attempts to retaliate were ineffective. Their largest ships fell to clever strategies, their formations broken, and their morale shattered. Humans had revealed that fear could be used against the overconfident, that knowledge of the enemy could defeat strength. The first strike was not just a battle, it was a message, a declaration that humanity could no longer be ignored. The Empire froze as they realized they had misjudged this species once again. Reports of destruction and resistance spread like wildfire, creating confusion, fear, and disbelief. Humans had risen from obscurity to challenge the mightiest force in the galaxy, and the Empire had no clear answer. The hidden fleet had become a symbol, not just of human power, but of hope, resilience, and determination. The first strike showed the universe that humans could fight back, fight smart, and fight without fear. The Empire had underestimated them, and now the consequences were beginning to unfold. Every victory for humans was a step toward rewriting the balance of power. The Empire had believed the galaxy was theirs, but the humans' hidden fleet had risen, proving that courage, planning, and unity could topple even the greatest empires. The first strike had sent a clear signal. Humanity had arrived, and they were not backing down. The Empire scrambled to understand humanity's tactics. Every commander, scientist, and strategist was baffled by the way humans fought. They did not follow conventional rules. Their ships moved unpredictably, sometimes attacking where the Empire expected defense, sometimes vanishing entirely before reinforcements could arrive. The Empire's intelligence had never encountered anything like this. Reports of human maneuvers were confusing, contradictory, and alarming. Humans anticipated Imperial moves, predicting attacks and countering strategies before the Empire could react. Every engagement revealed a new level of ingenuity. What looked like chaos was actually careful planning. The humans were not just reacting, they were controlling the battlefield. Their fleet operated like a single organism, each ship, pilot, and soldier understanding their role in the greater plan. The Empire's scientists tried to replicate human technology, but it was impossible. Every system adapted in real time. Every weapon adjusted to the enemy's strengths and weaknesses. Humans had designed their fleet for flexibility, speed, and surprise. And the Empire had no answers. They had relied on brute force, overwhelming numbers, and rigid formations, all of which humans bypassed with skill and precision. Every Imperial attack was met with resistance in unexpected ways. Their strategies, which had worked for centuries, failed repeatedly. Humans used the Empire's assumptions against them, feigning weakness, setting traps, and exploiting hesitation. The Empire had assumed they understood the universe, but humans taught them humility in battle, across multiple star systems. Humans executed simultaneous strikes, moving faster than Imperial communications, striking in one system while the Empire tried to respond in another. Their coordination was flawless, showing the Empire that intelligence and planning could match or exceed sheer firepower. Humans also used the Empire's arrogance as a weapon, attacking in ways designed to confuse, demoralize, and frustrate commanders. The Empire began to doubt itself. Orders were delayed, fleets hesitated, and mistakes multiplied. Human ingenuity was not limited to tactics alone. Their engineers constantly modified ships during battle, adapting to threats instantly. While the Empire relied on static designs and outdated assumptions, the humans' ability to innovate on the fly made them unpredictable and dangerous. Allies of the Empire began to question whether victory was possible. Whispers of human brilliance spread across conquered systems. Fear and uncertainty began to undermine loyalty. The Empire's authority was no longer absolute. Humans combined stealth, technology, and psychological warfare, striking where least expected, disappearing into hyperspace, leaving the Empire to scramble in confusion. Even the largest fleets could not anticipate the humans' next move. The hidden fleet became a ghost, present everywhere and nowhere. The Empire's generals realized that their previous confidence was a trap. They had underestimated humans at every level. The species that seemed primitive and weak had mastered strategy, patience, and adaptability. Every encounter revealed new tactics, new technologies, and new levels of courage. Humans attacked with minimal loss to themselves while maximizing damage to the Empire, teaching a lesson that power alone was not enough. Across the galaxy, other species observed humanity with awe and curiosity. Some began to aid them secretly, recognizing that humans had the intelligence and courage to challenge the Empire itself. The Empire, meanwhile, faced internal panic. Divisions formed, commanders argued over what to do next, and morale plummeted. Humans had shifted the balance without relying solely on weapons. Their knowledge, foresight, and creativity became as deadly as any missile or laser. The hidden fleet had become a symbol of resistance, adaptability, and determination. The Empire had never faced an enemy like this, one that learned from every mistake, adapted instantly, and struck with precision the moment an opportunity appeared. The galaxy was witnessing a new kind of warfare, one where courage, intelligence, and unity could defeat even centuries of domination. The Empire's old strategies failed against humans at every turn. Each victory only revealed more about their brilliance, and each defeat shook the Empire's confidence further. The hidden fleet moved through the stars like a shadow, untouchable, unpredictable, unstoppable. The Empire had thought itself untouchable, But humans had proven otherwise, teaching the galaxy that underestimated species could rise, adapt, and challenge the greatest powers. The humans' unseen tactics were not just a military strategy. They were a demonstration of vision, intelligence, and the unyielding spirit of a species no one had taken seriously. And the Empire was learning, too late, that their assumptions had been humanity's greatest weapon. Desperate to regain control, the Empire deployed its deadliest fleet against humanity, believing that sheer firepower would crush the rising threat. Massive warships filled the void between stars, each armed with weapons designed to obliterate entire planets. The Empire expected fear, surrender, and quick victory. But humans were ready. They had studied these fleets, their formations, and their weaknesses for years. The hidden human fleet moved with unmatched coordination, striking at vulnerable points while avoiding the Empire's strongest defenses. The first clash erupted with blinding explosions, lasers cutting through space, and shields bending under pressure. Yet humans adapted instantly, their ships twisting, dodging, and countering attacks in ways the Empire had never imagined. Each human strike was precise, targeting engines, weapon systems, and communication arrays, crippling the Imperial fleet without overextending themselves. The Empire's soldiers had trained for decades to expect predictable battles, formations, and rules. But humans had none. Their unpredictability became their deadliest weapon. Pilots maneuvered with skill, engineers repaired critical systems mid-battle, and commanders coordinated attacks across multiple sectors simultaneously. The Empire's confidence began to crumble. Every victory they hoped for turned into a setback. The hidden fleet moved like a shadow, appearing suddenly in one system, vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. The Empire's largest ships fell to unexpected attacks, some lost in the blink of an eye. Panic spread among Imperial commanders, their orders became confused, and hesitation grew where certainty had once reigned. Humans had transformed the battlefield, using speed, stealth, and intelligence as weapons. They avoided direct confrontation when unnecessary, conserving resources while maximizing damage. Every engagement demonstrated their ability to think, adapt, and exploit weaknesses. The Empire had relied on overwhelming power, but humans relied on strategy, courage, and timing. News of the encounters spread across the galaxy, inspiring awe among allies and fear among enemies. Humans had proven that raw strength alone could not defeat them. They had changed the rules of engagement, forcing the Empire to confront the impossible. Even allied species within the Empire began to question loyalty. Some secretly aided humans, providing intelligence and resources, believing that the hidden fleet represented a force that could not be ignored. The Empire tried to regroup, deploying additional fleets and concentrating forces. But humans anticipated these moves, creating diversions, splitting enemy forces, and striking at isolated targets. No strategy, no formation, and no weapon of the Empire could fully counter the hidden fleet's adaptability. Human ingenuity was evident everywhere. Their ships self-repairing mid-battle, their pilots improvising in real time, their commanders analyzing every Imperial move and adjusting tactics accordingly. The Empire had underestimated intelligence, courage, and teamwork, thinking that overwhelming firepower could secure victory. But humans had demonstrated that preparation, flexibility, and determination were just as lethal as any weapon. Each encounter eroded Imperial morale. Soldiers began to doubt their leadership. Commanders questioned their plans, and fear replaced certainty. Humans did not just fight, they taught, showing the Empire that arrogance could be destroyed by skill and courage. In every system they entered, humans left a trail of confusion, damaged fleets, and shattered pride. The Empire's hope of a decisive victory turned into a desperate struggle to survive. Battles that were meant to intimidate humans ended with Imperial humiliation, and the hidden fleet's reputation grew, becoming a symbol of resistance, strategy, and unwavering determination. Humans demonstrated that numbers alone could not guarantee dominance, technology alone could not ensure victory, and history alone could not predict the future. The Empire realized that they were facing a species that learned faster, adapted better, and fought smarter than anything they had encountered. Their pride and arrogance, once unquestioned, became their greatest weaknesses. The hidden fleet had risen from obscurity to challenge the mightiest force in the galaxy, and humans had proven that courage, ingenuity, and unity could overcome even the deadliest opposition. The Empire had hoped to strike back and reassert control. But humans had turned the encounter into a lesson, showing that even the most powerful could falter, and that the galaxy was ready for a new order shaped by those who refused to be defeated. Humanity planned a bold and daring assault deep inside the Empire's central command, a station thought to be untouchable, heavily guarded by the Empire's best fleets and defended by thousands of soldiers. Humans had studied the defenses for years, analyzing patrol routes, weapon systems, and communication channels. Every detail was known, every weakness identified, and every scenario prepared for. The hidden fleet moved with precision, approaching in small, coordinated groups that avoided detection. Their ships slipped past patrols, using stealth technology and clever maneuvers to remain unseen. Inside the fleet, pilots were ready, engineers had modified every vessel for maximum efficiency, and commanders coordinated attacks with split-second timing. The first wave struck silently, disabling critical systems and creating confusion among the defenders. Human soldiers infiltrated the station, moving quickly, silently, and with purpose. Sabotage crews targeted energy cores, weapons, and communication hubs, crippling the station without causing unnecessary damage. The Empire's commanders were stunned, alarms blared, and fleets scrambled to respond. But the humans had already predicted their reactions, countering every attempt to repel them. As more waves arrived, the humans struck at multiple points simultaneously, keeping the defenders off balance. Every attack was calculated, every strike designed to maximize effect while minimizing risk, even when the Empire tried to regroup and counterattack. Humans adapted instantly, changing strategies in real time, exploiting any mistakes, and turning them into opportunities. The Central Command Station, once seen as the pinnacle of Imperial power, was slowly falling, its defenders confused, demoralized, and overwhelmed. Humans moved with a combination of speed, intelligence, and courage that the Empire had never faced. Each human fighter knew their role, each engineer knew their target, and each commander anticipated the enemy's move before it happened. News of the assault spread across Imperial space. Panic set in, and whispers of human brilliance began to circulate. Allies and subjects of the Empire questioned whether their rulers could survive. The hidden fleet's presence was undeniable, and humanity's courage and planning became clear to all. The Empire's arrogance had blinded them to the reality of human capabilities. The station, once a symbol of Imperial dominance, became a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. Even the largest Imperial warships were forced to retreat or face destruction. Human forces adapted to every new threat, using stealth, speed, and unconventional tactics. They struck where the Empire least expected, avoided traps, and turned the Empire's own weapons against them. The assault was not just a battle, but a demonstration, showing the galaxy that humans had risen from obscurity to challenge the mightiest power. Every victory inspired hope among oppressed species, and fear among Imperial forces. Humans were no longer passive, no longer weak. They had become an unstoppable force capable of strategic brilliance. Inside the station, the Empire tried to regain control, sending reinforcements, activating automated defenses, and calling for support. But the humans anticipated every move, striking before the Empire could act, disabling reinforcements, sabotaging defenses, and cutting off communication. The Empire's leaders watched in disbelief as their most secure installation fell apart piece by piece. Every failure added to their confusion and fear. Humans were relentless, efficient, and intelligent, proving that courage, planning, and innovation could overcome even overwhelming odds. The hidden fleet had become more than a collection of ships. It was a force that represented human spirit, resilience, and brilliance. The Central Command assault showed the galaxy that humanity could turn the impossible into reality. The Empire, once confident in its dominance, now faced the undeniable truth. Humans were a force that could not be ignored, that could strike where least expected, and that could change the balance of power forever. The Hidden Fleet's victory was not just military, it was symbolic, a message to the galaxy that underestimating humans was a mistake that no empire could afford. Humanity had moved from defense to offense, showing that patience, preparation, and courage could topple even the most fortified enemy. The Empire's power, once absolute, was now being challenged by intelligence, skill, and determination. Every victory added to the legend of the Hidden Fleet, inspiring hope, spreading fear, and proving that humans had risen to claim their place among the stars. The assault on the Central Command Station became a turning point, a demonstration that the Empire's centuries of control were no match for the Hidden Fleet's strategy, vision, and unyielding courage. Humanity had proven that even the greatest power could fall to planning, bravery, and unity. As humans gained momentum, other oppressed species across the galaxy began to notice, watching silently as the Hidden Fleet struck against the Empire with precision and courage. Whispers of human victories spread quickly, inspiring hope and daring rebellion. Some worlds that had long suffered under imperial rule began to secretly provide resources, intelligence, and recruits. Believing that humanity had the skill and vision to challenge the Empire itself, humans welcomed these allies carefully, coordinating strategies and sharing knowledge without revealing their full strength too soon. The coalition grew, combining human ingenuity with the experience, skills, and technologies of those who had suffered under imperial oppression. Together, they became more than just a fleet. They became a symbol of resistance, a united front that could strike where the Empire felt safe. In every engagement, humans taught their allies to fight with intelligence, patience, and courage, showing them that victory was possible even against overwhelming odds. The Hidden Fleet became a beacon, moving quickly from system to system, striking enemy outposts, disrupting supply lines, and disabling critical defenses. Each operation carefully planned, executed with precision, and adapted in real time based on enemy movements. The Empire watched in disbelief as their once unquestioned control began to crumble. Loyal planets questioned their allegiance. Officers argued over strategy, and fear spread among soldiers. Humans had transformed from a hidden threat into the spark of a wider rebellion. The coalition's diversity became a strength, as each species contributed unique technologies, tactics, and knowledge. Human leaders integrated these gifts, creating new strategies that the Empire could not predict. Every strike was smarter, faster, and more effective. The Empire's largest fleets were forced to divide, respond cautiously, and risk ambushes. Yet humans and their allies moved as one, their coordination flawless, their timing impeccable. Even the most secure Imperial systems found themselves vulnerable to sudden, well-planned attacks. The Hidden Fleet's presence forced the Empire to rethink every assumption. Commanders doubted their plans, scientists struggled to adapt, and generals argued over tactics that had once been unchallenged. Humans were not just attacking, they were reshaping the galaxy's balance of power. The coalition moved like a shadow, striking precisely, vanishing before counterattacks could arrive. Every victory reinforced the message that the Empire was no longer untouchable. Humans had proven that intelligence, courage, and unity could achieve what brute force never could. The oppressed species who joined humanity found a renewed sense of hope, learning to fight strategically, to strike decisively, and to trust in planning and preparation. Human leadership taught them patience, adaptability, and cleverness in battle. The Hidden Fleet became a school as well as a weapon, transforming ordinary fighters into formidable opponents. Across the galaxy, reports of human-led victories inspired uprisings, secret sabotage, and whispers of rebellion in systems long considered loyal to the Empire. The coalition's strength grew not only in numbers but in skill. Every new ally added new perspectives, technologies, and strategies, making humans' force more versatile and deadly than ever. The Empire tried to respond with overwhelming force, but humans anticipated their moves, creating diversions, feints, and ambushes that further demoralized Imperial commanders. Their largest fleets were split, confused, and forced to fight in ways they had never been trained for. Humans had shown that adaptability could outmatch size, and strategy could defeat raw power. The Hidden Fleet's victories were more than military. They were symbolic, proving that a united, intelligent, and courageous coalition could stand against the mightiest empire the galaxy had ever seen. The humans had grown from a hidden fleet into a unifying force, inspiring others to rise, to resist, and to fight for their freedom. The Empire faced not just a fleet, but a movement, one that combined determination, skill, and hope. Humans had turned their previous weakness into unmatched strength, demonstrating that collaboration, intelligence, and bravery could challenge even the most powerful enemy. As the coalition grew, The Empire's control weakened, systems long thought secure became vulnerable, and fear spread among officers who had once commanded without question. Humanity's rise had become unstoppable. The Hidden Fleet and its allies had rewritten the rules of war, showing that unity and strategy could overcome tyranny. The galaxy began to change, hope replacing fear, courage replacing submission, and humans stood at the center of this transformation, leading a coalition that would forever challenge the Empire's dominance. Every strike, every victory, every alliance reinforced the truth. The Empire's power was no longer absolute, and humanity's hidden fleet had become the symbol of a new dawn. The Empire was crumbling under the pressure of humanity and its growing coalition. Once mighty fleets were scattered, supply lines cut, and communications disrupted. Generals who had ruled with absolute authority now faced confusion and fear. Soldiers who had trained their entire lives found themselves outmaneuvered and demoralized. Humans and their allies moved with precision, striking where the Empire was weakest. Each victory carefully planned. Each engagement designed to maximize effect. The Central Command, once thought untouchable, was no longer secure. The Hidden Fleet had proven that intelligence, courage, and adaptability could defeat even the largest forces. Across the galaxy, systems that had been loyal to the Empire began to hesitate. Some openly rebelled, others secretly aided humanity, providing information, supplies, and pilots. The Empire had ruled through fear, but humans had shown that fear could be turned against them. Every strike weakened the Empire's control, morale dropped, and internal divisions grew. Humans attacked in ways the Empire could not predict. Using stealth, speed, and clever tactics, they avoided unnecessary risk while striking hard where it mattered most. Even the Empire's largest warships fell to unexpected attacks, their weapons and defenses neutralized. Engineers and pilots on the human side adapted instantly, improvising when needed. The Empire's arrogance had been its downfall. It had assumed strength alone could maintain dominance. But humanity had shown that strategy, intelligence, and unity could overcome raw power. In every system humans entered, they left a trail of victory, hope, and fear. The Empire struggled to respond. Reinforcements arrived too late, defenses were bypassed, and the Hidden Fleet moved on, unharmed and unstoppable. The coalition of species fighting alongside humans grew stronger with each victory, each new member adding unique skills, technologies, and knowledge. Human commanders integrated these contributions, creating strategies the Empire could not anticipate. Together, they became a force that combined experience, creativity, and courage. The Empire's once commanding presence was reduced to reaction and desperation. Officers argued over tactics, soldiers hesitated, and internal distrust spread. Humans had turned the Empire's own structure against itself, striking at isolated fleets, sabotaging stations, and coordinating attacks across multiple sectors. The Hidden Fleet was everywhere and nowhere, moving like a shadow, striking decisively, and vanishing before the Empire could respond. Reports of their victories spread across the galaxy, inspiring hope in oppressed worlds, and fear in those who had long considered themselves safe under Imperial protection. Humans had become more than a military force. They were a symbol of resistance, strategy, and determination. The Empire's control eroded further as more systems joined the rebellion, some out of fear, some out of admiration, all contributing to the growing legend of the Hidden Fleet. Humanity had turned the tide, showing that the largest, most powerful empire could be challenged through careful planning, courage, and coordination. Even the Empire's Central Command was not immune. Humans and their allies struck at critical hubs, disabling weapons, cutting communications, and forcing retreats. Each success increased the coalition's confidence while further demoralizing the Empire. The Empire tried desperate measures, mobilizing every remaining fleet, but humans anticipated each move, creating diversions, ambushes, and tactical traps. Every action by the Empire seemed to play into humanity's hands. The Hidden Fleet's victories were precise, overwhelming, and symbolic, demonstrating that intelligence and teamwork could defeat arrogance and brute force. As the Empire's influence waned, humans began to establish control over newly liberated systems, securing supply lines, protecting civilians, and preparing for the final confrontations. The galaxy watched in awe as a species once dismissed as weak rose to challenge the mightiest power known. Humanity had proven that even an empire with centuries of dominance could be toppled by preparation, courage, and unity. Every strike, every strategic move, and every alliance brought the hidden fleet closer to victory. The empire's collapse became inevitable, its authority broken, and its soldiers and citizens realizing that their rulers were no longer invincible. Humans had rewritten the rules of warfare, showing that intelligence, strategy, and determination could achieve what sheer numbers and firepower could not. The hidden fleet's rise had become unstoppable, the galaxy shifting toward a new order where courage, ingenuity, and unity defined power. The Empire, once feared and unchallenged, now faced a reality where humans dictated the future, and the story of the Empire's fall spread, inspiring countless civilizations, teaching the lesson that no force, no matter how great, could ignore the strength of the underestimated. With the Empire fractured and its fleet scattered, humans moved to secure the galaxy, their hidden fleet now a symbol of courage, strategy, and hope. Systems once ruled by fear now looked to humanity for protection and guidance. Liberated planets joined willingly, offering resources, pilots, and knowledge. Humans coordinated with allies to establish order, ensuring that freedom did not descend into chaos. Every operation was carefully planned, every fleet movement calculated. Humans had learned the lessons of patience, preparation, and unity. Their technology and tactics integrated with those of allied species, creating a force stronger than any the Empire had faced. Across the galaxy, the influence of the Empire waned. Former imperial worlds hesitated to resist. Realizing that the humans' coalition was unstoppable, rebellion spread naturally. Inspired by the courage and brilliance of the hidden fleet, humans had shown that intelligence, strategy, and coordination could overcome raw power. The Empire's attempts to regain control were futile. Every counterattack failed, and every loss weakened their credibility. Humans maintained momentum, striking at the remaining strongholds with precision, avoiding unnecessary losses, and demonstrating that warfare was not just about destruction, but about careful planning, adaptation, and foresight. The Hidden Fleet's victories were symbolic as well as practical, proving that even the mightiest empire could fall when faced with unity, intelligence, and courage. Human leadership emphasized collaboration, trust, and innovation, empowering allies to fight strategically and effectively. Planets that had once feared imperial rule now flourished under the protection of humans and their coalition. Trade, communication, and exploration resumed, guided by fairness and cooperation. The Hidden Fleet became a legend, inspiring countless civilizations, proving that underestimated species could rise and challenge domination. Humans had turned secrecy into strength, patience into power, and preparation into unstoppable momentum. The Empire, once thought eternal, had become a warning to all who underestimated others. Humanity had rewritten the rules of galactic power, showing that true strength came from courage, strategy, and unity. The galaxy now looked to humans not only as warriors, but as leaders, architects of a new order built on respect rather than fear. The Hidden Fleet moved continuously, securing borders, aiding allies, and ensuring that the Empire's remnants could not regroup. Humans had learned that victory was not just about defeating an enemy, but about creating a system where freedom, justice, and preparedness ensured lasting peace. Stories of their triumph spread quickly, inspiring hope and courage across countless worlds, and teaching that patience, intelligence, and unity could defeat even the most oppressive power. Humans had risen from obscurity to lead the galaxy into a new era, their fleet no longer hidden, but a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and determination. The Empire's arrogance had been its downfall, but humanity's vision, courage, and preparation had created a future where no species would be underestimated again. The Hidden Fleet had changed the galaxy forever, proving that even the smallest, most overlooked species could rise to greatness. Humanity's leadership ensured that oppression would no longer dominate, and the galaxy entered a new dawn where courage, intelligence, and unity shaped the stars. Every victory, every alliance, every strategic decision reinforced that humans had risen not just to fight, but to lead, to protect, and to inspire. The Empire's shadow faded, replaced by the light of a species that refused to bow, that had turned miscalculation into opportunity, weakness into strength, and secrecy into unstoppable power. The galaxy would remember this rise forever. The hidden fleet had emerged from the shadows to become a beacon of hope, courage, and a new order. And humanity had proven that no force, however mighty, could ignore the will, intelligence, and determination of those prepared to fight for their future.